Chosen one, what if I told you that spirits have been watching you your entire life? That your movements, your thoughts, and your energy have been tracked from the moment you were born? This isn't just paranoia. This is spiritual warfare. There are forces that never take their eyes off you. Spirits that follow you everywhere you go. They study you, observe you, and look for weaknesses to exploit. But once you recognize their presence, you can break their hold and take back your power. Have you ever felt like you were being watched, even when no one was around? Have you sensed an unseen presence lingering in your life, observing your every move, waiting for the perfect moment to strike? This is not your imagination. This is real. As a chosen one, you are marked. You were born with divine purpose, and because of that, there are spirits assigned to monitor you, familiar spirits. They have been tracking your bloodline, studying your patterns, influencing your environment, all in an attempt to keep you from fulfilling your destiny. This is why your life has never been easy, why you have always felt a resistance in everything you do, why breakthroughs seem harder for you than they are for others. They have been watching, waiting, working in the shadows to keep you in cycles of confusion, stagnation, and delay. But here's the good news: they have no power over you unless you allow it. Familiar spirits operate through deception, through ignorance. They do not want you to know they exist because the moment you see them for what they are, their influence is broken. And today, you are about to gain the knowledge that will set you free. In this video, I will expose what familiar spirits are and how they operate, the signs that you are under their surveillance, why they target chosen ones, and the spiritual methods to break free from their grip. You must stay until the end, because once you know the truth, you will never be controlled again. If you resonate with this message, like this video and comment 77 below. Let them know that you are waking up, that you are aware, that their time watching you is coming to an end. What are familiar spirits? Chosen one, have you ever felt like no matter how hard you try, no matter how much you pray, no matter how disciplined you are, something is still pulling you back? Have you ever noticed that certain struggles in your life don't seem to be yours alone? They run in your family, repeating like a cycle? The same failures, the same heartbreaks, the same losses, the same limitations. You work hard to change your story, but it feels like an unseen force is keeping you in place, blocking your progress, making sure you never rise above a certain level. That feeling is not just your imagination. That force is real. You are dealing with familiar spirits, ancient, unseen entities that have been assigned to monitor, manipulate, and control you from the moment you were born. These spirits have been tracking your bloodline for generations, learning weaknesses, enforcing patterns, ensuring that no one in your lineage breaks free. But today we expose them. Today we strip them of their power, because once you see them, they can no longer operate in the dark. Familiar spirits are not random demons, they are strategic. They do not just attach themselves to anyone. They specifically target bloodlines, families, and individuals with divine assignments. Their goal is to keep you from your destiny. They are spiritual record keepers, watching your every move, making sure you follow the same path as those before you. This is why certain families experience generational patterns of poverty, addiction, sickness, broken relationships, depression, and even untimely deaths. It is not coincidence. It is spiritual programming. And unless you recognize and break it, you will continue to experience the same cycles. Many people mistakenly accept these struggles as normal, as part of their personality or fate, when in reality, they are under the influence of something that was never meant to have control over them. The enemy knows that if he can get you to believe this is just how your life is supposed to be, you will never fight back. You will settle. You will accept the struggle instead of breaking free. This is why God warns us about familiar spirits in Leviticus 19 verse 31, saying, "Regard not them that have familiar spirits, neither seek after wizards to be defiled by them. I am the Lord your God." God makes it clear that these spirits are real and that interacting with them, whether knowingly or unknowingly, defiles a person. Many people don't even realize that familiar spirits can disguise themselves as ancestral connections, spiritual guides, or even intuitive voices that seem helpful at first. This is deception at its highest level. These spirits present themselves as protectors, as wisdom passed down, as traits inherited from loved ones. But in reality, they are demons wearing the mask of familiarity, using deception to keep generations trapped. They whisper the same lies in every generation. You will never be more than this. This is just how your family is. This is just how life works for people like you. And if you accept those lies, if you believe them, you unknowingly come into agreement with their bondage. That is why recognition is the first step to breaking free. Once you expose them, you weaken their grip. But here's where the shift happens. Once you recognize that these spirits have been monitoring and manipulating your life, you can begin to break free. You are no longer moving in ignorance. You now see what was hidden. And when you see, you gain power. This is when breakthroughs begin to happen. This is when you start noticing changes in your life. You begin to reject negative patterns. You stop engaging in destructive cycles. Your mind becomes clear, and your spirit becomes lighter. Opportunities that were once blocked start to open. Favor that was delayed starts to accelerate. The weight you didn't even know you were carrying begins to lift. Because familiar spirits thrive in darkness. But when the light of God shines on them, they have to flee. This is why knowledge is dangerous to the enemy. The moment you stop being blind to what's happening, the moment you realize that these patterns are not normal, you break their deception. And once the deception is broken, their power crumbles. So now the question is, can you see them? Can you look back over your life, over your family history, and recognize the patterns that have been repeating? Can you see the cycles of delay, failure, addiction, fear, or poverty that have been passed down through generations? Can you recognize that these struggles were never meant to be your portion? Because once you see, you cannot unsee. And if you see them, if you recognize them, if you are ready to break their influence, comment, "I see them," below. Let it be known that their time watching you, controlling you, manipulating your life is over. Because today you step into awareness. And once you are aware, you can never be bound again. Signs that you are being watched spiritually. Have you ever felt like something invisible was working against you? Like no matter how much progress you make, something unseen is pulling you back, making sure you never truly break free? Maybe you've felt it as an unexplained heaviness in your spirit, a lingering presence that makes you uneasy, or a cycle of setbacks that seem too precise to be random. You fight hard, you pray, you push forward, but just when you think you're finally about to step into something greater, everything seems to crumble overnight. This is not just bad luck, and it is not your imagination. You are being watched. There are spirits assigned to track your movements, to study your habits, and to interfere with your progress at every crucial moment. These familiar spirits do not operate like ordinary demons. They don't create chaos outright. Instead, they work in the background, influencing situations, planting doubts, and ensuring that every time you get close to your breakthrough, something suddenly shifts against you. The most frustrating part of this attack is that it is subtle. You may not even notice it at first. You chalk it up to life's difficulties, to stress, to misfortune. But the signs are there. You start feeling drained for no reason. You experience sudden waves of depression, anxiety, or confusion that come out of nowhere and disappear just as fast. You feel an unseen force pressing down on you, making even small tasks feel overwhelming. You may even wake up in the middle of the night, feeling watched, sensing a presence in the room even when no one is there. And most notably, you notice repeating cycles in your life, patterns that don't make sense, obstacles that always seem to appear at the worst possible time. Every time you try to elevate, something knocks you back. Every time you get close to a breakthrough, a sudden attack, distraction, or betrayal arises. No matter how hard you try, you keep ending up in the same situations. This is not a coincidence. This is spiritual surveillance. The Bible warns us about this. In Zechariah 3 verse 1, it says, "And he showed me Joshua the high priest standing before the angel of the Lord, and Satan standing at his right hand to resist him." This is exactly what is happening in the spiritual realm. The moment you step into your calling, the enemy positions himself to resist you. He does not attack without reason. He is watching, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. And if you are unaware of this surveillance, you may fall into his traps repeatedly without realizing what is happening. But once you recognize this, you can begin to break free. The enemy only succeeds when you are ignorant of his tactics. The moment you see through the illusion, you weaken his grip over your life. Familiar spirits thrive in secrecy, in deception, in subtlety. But when you expose them, you strip them of their power. So how do you know for sure that you are under spiritual surveillance? One undeniable sign is delayed destiny. You feel like you are always stuck in a waiting season. No matter how much you pray or work hard, opportunities slip through your fingers. People who once supported you suddenly turn against you without explanation. Confusion surrounds your path. You feel like you are moving but never truly getting anywhere. Another sign is draining relationships. Certain people in your life always seem to bring negativity, conflict, or distractions whenever you are about to step into something important. This is not an accident. Familiar spirits use people as gatekeepers to block your progress. If you've ever felt like someone in your life was keeping tabs on you, draining your energy, or pulling you into unnecessary drama, it may not be them alone. It may be what is working through them. This is why it is crucial for you to be spiritually aware. The moment you identify the pattern, you can break it. Once you recognize how these spirits operate, you no longer react the way they expect you to. You start cutting off access points. You stop allowing certain people to speak into your life. You become more selective with your time, your words, your energy. And as you do, you will notice things start to shift. The same battles that once overwhelmed you will suddenly feel powerless. The same obstacles that once delayed you will start to clear. Because now you are no longer being controlled. You are seeing through the tactics, and once you see, you cannot unsee. So now ask yourself, have you experienced this? Have you felt unseen forces working against you? Cycles repeating, breakthroughs being delayed at the last minute? If so, comment, "I know the signs" below. Let it be known that you are awake, that you see through the deception, that you are ready to break free. Because the moment you recognize the enemy's strategy, he loses all power over you. And from this moment forward, you will never be fooled again. Before I reveal why familiar spirits target chosen ones specifically, make sure you subscribe, share this video, and if this message is helping you, click the super thanks button to support. This knowledge needs to be spread, because the more we expose these spirits, the weaker they become. Now, let's talk about why they are watching you in the first place. Why familiar spirits target chosen ones. Have you ever felt like you were fighting battles that no one else around you seemed to struggle with? Have you wondered why your life has been filled with resistance, obstacles, and unseen forces working against you since you were young? This is not a coincidence. This is spiritual warfare. You have been targeted since birth, not because of what you have done, but because of who you are. You are chosen. Your very existence is a threat to the kingdom of darkness. You carry a divine purpose, an assignment on your life that, if fulfilled, will shake the spiritual realm. The enemy knows this, and that is why they have been watching you. The resistance, the setbacks, the betrayals, they were never random. They were designed to break you before you could rise into your full power. But what they didn't count on is that you would wake up, that you would start to see through the deception, that you would start to recognize who you truly are. And once you know the truth, you become unstoppable. Not everyone is being monitored. Some people move through life with ease, never facing the kind of resistance that you do. Why? Because they do not carry what you carry. The enemy does not waste resources attacking those who pose no threat. But you have a light inside of you that cannot be ignored. From the moment you were born, familiar spirits have been assigned to track your every move. This is why your childhood was different. This is why you never fit in. You may have experienced rejection, isolation, spiritual attacks, and overwhelming struggles at a young age. Not because you were unlucky, but because they saw your potential before you did. They recognized your destiny before you even knew who you were. The enemy's strategy has always been to stop you before you start, to weaken you before you become strong enough to fight back. But here's what they don't want you to realize: you were built to survive every attack. You are still standing, and that means you have already won. In Acts 16 verse 16, the Apostle Paul encountered a woman possessed with a familiar spirit. She followed him, watching him, speaking words over him, trying to interfere with his mission. This is exactly how familiar spirits operate. They attach themselves to people, pretending to be harmless, disguising their true purpose, while working behind the scenes to manipulate and block destiny. Some of you have encountered people like this. Individuals who seem drawn to you for no reason, who inserted themselves into your life, who always had something negative to say, who seem to know things about you that they shouldn't have known. These spirits do not just work through random strangers. They can operate through family members, friends, relationships, anyone who has access to you. Their goal is to distract you, to exhaust you, to delay you. But once you recognize how they move, you can break their influence. This is why certain relationships in your life have been filled with chaos, betrayal, and cycles of pain. It wasn't just the person, it was what was working through them. This is why every time you get close to a breakthrough, something tries to pull you back. Have you ever noticed how distractions increase when you're about to take a major step forward? How unnecessary conflicts arise? How doubt and confusion seem to come out of nowhere? That is spiritual monitoring at work. They are tracking your progress, waiting for the perfect moment to strike, hoping to stop you before you step into something greater. But now that you see it, you have the power to fight back. And this is where everything changes. Because once you recognize that you are being watched, you can break free from their control. The reason these spirits have been able to operate against you for so long is because you did not know they were there. They thrive in deception, in secrecy, in the shadows. But now you are stepping into the light. Now you are seeing the patterns, the signs, the truth. And when you see, you can no longer be manipulated. When you expose their tactics, you strip them of their power. This is the turning point. This is where you take your authority back. This is where the watchers become powerless, because the one they were watching is no longer afraid. So now the decision is yours. Will you continue to allow these spirits to track, manipulate, and interfere with your destiny? Or will you stand in your authority and break free? Because you can break free. You are stronger than the forces against you. You have been chosen by God, and no spirit, no curse, no generational bondage can stop what He has ordained. If you are ready to take back your power, if you are ready to break the chains that have been holding you back, comment, "I am breaking free" below. Let it be known that you see them, you know their tactics, and you are taking your life back. Because once you make that declaration, once you step into awareness, they lose their grip. And from this moment forward, you walk in complete spiritual authority. How to break free from spiritual monitoring. Have you ever felt like no matter how hard you try to move forward, something unseen keeps pulling you back? Like an invisible weight pressing against your spirit, draining your energy, blocking your progress? You pray, you work hard, you try to change, yet the same battles seem to find you again and again. This is not a coincidence. You are being watched. Spiritual monitoring is real, and if you are not intentional about breaking free, you will continue to experience resistance that has nothing to do with your efforts and everything to do with the unseen forces assigned to keep you bound. But here's the truth: you do not have to live like this. You do not have to accept the attacks, the cycles, the setbacks as your reality. There is a way out. There is a way to break free. And once you do, nothing and no one will be able to stop what God has for you. But here is where many people struggle. They try to fight a spiritual battle with physical weapons. They rely on willpower, on logic, on human effort to break free from something that can only be dealt with in the spirit. This is why prayer and fasting are not optional. They are necessary. Familiar spirits thrive in environments of sin, stagnation, and ignorance. They hide in places where they are not confronted, where they are allowed to operate without resistance. But when you fast and pray, you weaken their grip, you disrupt their influence, you break the chains they have placed over your life. Fasting is not just about denying yourself food. It is about starving the enemy, cutting off his access points, making it impossible for him to stay attached to you. When you combine fasting with strategic, intentional prayer, you become too powerful to be controlled. You shift the atmosphere. You take back the territory that was stolen from you. This is why James 4 verse 7 is so critical. Submit yourselves therefore to God. Resist the devil, and he will flee from you. Many people quote the second half of this verse. Resist the devil and he will flee from you. But they forget the first part. Submission to God comes first. You cannot resist what you are still entertaining. You cannot break free from an attack that you are unknowingly cooperating with. This is why repentance is the foundation of deliverance. When you turn away from every sin, every compromise, every open door that has given the enemy access to your life, you are cutting off his legal right to monitor you. These spirits operate under permission. Somewhere in your bloodline, somewhere in your past, somewhere in your present, a door was opened. And until that door is closed, they will continue to have access. Prayer and fasting slam that door shut. But breaking free requires more than just prayer. You must also take physical action. Anointing your home with oil, speaking blessings over your environment, cutting off toxic relationships, removing objects tied to past sins. These things matter. Some of you have items in your house that are tied to past bondage, past relationships, past connections to darkness. And as long as they are there, they serve as a spiritual anchor. They keep you bound. You must cleanse your space, both spiritually and physically. If you are serious about breaking free, start by removing anything that does not align with where God is taking you. Because when you create an environment that is hostile to demonic presence, they have no choice but to leave. And here's how you will know it's working. You will feel lighter. The confusion that once clouded your mind will start to lift. The fear that once gripped you will begin to fade. Doors that were once closed will suddenly open. The things that used to tempt you will no longer have the same hold. This is divine intervention at work. When you take a stand, when you actively resist, when you declare with your words and actions that you belong to God and God alone, the enemy has no choice but to back off. You will notice that people who were sent to drain your energy will remove themselves. Situations that once triggered you will no longer have power over you. The same spiritual monitoring spirits that have been tracking you will lose their ability to watch you because you will have stepped into a higher level of spiritual protection. So now the choice is yours. Will you continue living under surveillance, allowing familiar spirits to track your every move, to manipulate your circumstances, to keep you in cycles of frustration? Or will you take your power back? Because you can break free. You are stronger than the spirits against you. You carry divine authority. You have been chosen, and because of that, you are not meant to be controlled. If you are ready to declare your freedom, comment, "I am breaking free" below. Let the enemy know that his time is up. Let the spiritual watchers know that their assignment has failed. Because from this moment forward, you are no longer bound. You are no longer monitored. You are no longer controlled. You are free. And once you step into that freedom, there is nothing the enemy can do to stop you. How to strengthen your spiritual protection. Have you ever felt like every time you break free from something, the enemy tries to find another way in? Like the moment you start making progress, distractions appear, old temptations resurface, and spiritual attacks come back stronger? This is not a coincidence. It is spiritual warfare. When you remove something dark from your life, you must replace it with light, because if you don't, the enemy will try to return. Many people experience temporary relief after breaking free from spiritual monitoring, only to find themselves back in the same struggles a few months later. Why? Because they left the door open. Deliverance is not just about removing what is attacking you. It is about making sure it can never return. Once you cast something out, you must fill the void with the presence of God. You must fortify yourself so that no spirit, no energy, no force of darkness can find its way back in. The most powerful way to do this is by staying prayed up. Prayer is not just a routine, it is your spiritual shield. Keeps your atmosphere covered, your mind clear, your spirit strong. But prayer alone is not enough. You must also incorporate fasting into your lifestyle. Fasting weakens the grip of the enemy and strengthens your connection to God. It purifies your spirit, making it harder for anything unclean to attach itself to you. Jesus himself emphasized the power of fasting in Matthew 17 verse 21, saying, "Howbeit this kind goeth not out but by prayer and fasting." Some battles can only be won when you sacrifice the physical to strengthen the spiritual. When you combine consistent prayer with strategic fasting, you create a barrier around your life that no familiar spirit can penetrate. But protecting yourself is not just about what you do spiritually, It is also about what you allow into your environment. Your home, your relationships, your daily habits, all of these are gateways. If you want to maintain your freedom, you must cleanse not just your spirit, but also your surroundings. Anoint your home with oil. Speak blessings over every room, every doorway, every object that belongs to you. Get rid of anything that carries negative energy. Items tied to past relationships, objects from old sinful habits, things that no longer align with who you are becoming. Ephesians 4 verse 27 warns us, "Neither give place to the devil." This means do not leave an opening for him to return. Many people break free from familiar spirits only to unknowingly invite them back through music, movies, social media, or toxic connections. Be intentional about guarding what enters your space. Your mind is another battleground. The enemy will always try to plant thoughts of doubt, fear, and discouragement to pull you back into bondage. You must renew your mind daily with Scripture. Meditate on God's Word. Declare His promises over your life. Refuse to let the enemy's lies take root in your thoughts. When Jesus was tempted in the wilderness, He didn't argue with the devil. He responded with Scripture. This is how you fight back. Arm yourself with truth so that when the enemy tries to deceive you, you already know the answer. Read the Word. Speak it out loud. Let it saturate your spirit until the enemy has no room to plant his deception. And finally, protect your spirit from new openings. Once you break free, the enemy will test you. He will send old temptations, past relationships, and distractions disguised as opportunities. He will make you think you are strong enough to entertain what you have already escaped. Do not fall for it. Stay focused. Stay alert. Stay in alignment with God. The moment you feel old cycles trying to resurface, rebuke them immediately. Do not entertain thoughts, people, or situations that pull you back into the very thing you prayed to be free from. Luke 11 verses 24 to 26 warns us that when an unclean spirit leaves a person, it seeks a way back. If it finds the house empty, it returns 7 times stronger. This is why spiritual protection is not optional, it is necessary. So now the question is, are you ready to fortify yourself? Are you ready to live in complete spiritual authority, where nothing and no one can pull you back into bondage? If so, comment, "I am protected," below. Let it be known that you are covering yourself in prayer, surrounding yourself with light, and closing every door the enemy once used. Because from this moment forward, you are not just breaking free, you are staying free. And no power of darkness can stop what God is doing in your life. Have you ever felt as if something or someone was always watching, always waiting for you to falter? It's an unsettling feeling, like being under a spotlight you never asked for. But let me tell you, that constant pressure, that unseen force trying to keep you from your path, isn't as strong as it once seemed. You're starting to see through it, aren't you? The fear that once gripped you, the doubt that whispered you'd never be enough, it's losing its power. Right now, you're standing on the verge of a breakthrough, and that's why the pressure has felt so intense. Because when a chosen one begins to rise, the opposition scrambles to hold them back. But here's the truth, you're no longer under their control. The Watchers may have had their time, but now it's your time. The moment has come to reclaim your authority. When you look back, you might remember times when it felt like everything was working against you. The people you trusted seemed to turn on you. Opportunities slipped through your fingers, and you were left questioning whether you'd ever break free from the cycle. It's not that you were weak, far from it. It's that the forces around you were relentless in their attempts to keep you from discovering who you really are. They fed on your insecurities, magnified your fears, and tried to convince you that the struggle was pointless. But those challenges were never meant to defeat you. They were meant to teach you where your true strength lies. The fact that you're still here, still standing, is proof that those forces underestimated you. They tried to keep you down, but instead, they've shown you just how much power you actually have. They've only made your resolve stronger. So, chosen one, step into this new chapter with confidence. The Watchers may still watch, but now you see them for what they are, empty shadows. They no longer have control over you. Comment, "I am chosen," if this message resonates with your soul. Let the world know that you have taken back your power. You are no longer a prisoner to the past, no longer at the mercy of unseen forces that sought to hold you down. Instead, you are walking in total spiritual authority. Every step you take now is a step toward your divine purpose. You are not just free, you are victorious. This is only the beginning. The chains are broken, the watchers are losing their grip, and you are walking in a strength that no one can take from you. Subscribe, share, and spread this message, because what comes next is nothing short of miraculous. The chosen ones are rising, and the world will see a light that cannot be extinguished. You are leading the way, and from this moment forward, you walk in total spiritual authority.